Bienvenido a Machu Picchu, Peru, and thanks for tuning in to the second installment of the Barefoot Video Blog series, where I walk and talk in an interesting place about an interesting topic. Bear with me as I try to keep these videos under 5 minutes, but I have a heavy topic to cover today. And please make sure to leave some feedback after the video to encourage me to keep making these, or to stop. So as I mentioned, I am in Peru. I've been here for about a month now, and what a crazy time it's been. I joined up with my friend Hanga, who I traveled with 3 years ago to India and Nepal to do some trekking. And that was our goal here as well. Well, we started off with an ambitious 9-day trek called the Alpamayo, and that one really kicked our butts. We had to quit about halfway through. So more on that at my blog at www.allineedismy2barefeet.blogspot.com. Shortly after that trek, we had to attempt another one, about a 5 or 6 day that leads to the Machu Picchu. And unfortunately, Hanga fell sick before the trek, so she couldn't do it. However, she did join me via transportation on this day. And I was able to complete the trek, and I just had an amazing time and saw some really amazing sights along the way. And the Machu Picchu is the icing on the cake. So, vlog and photos will be coming out about that pretty soon. Without further ado, my topic today is trauma. Trauma is universal. We have all experienced it, some more than others, and I believe too many of us are not aware of the trauma that's in our lives and how it affects us. So I hope to shed some light on it. I will also share some insights from Dr. Gabor Mate, a brilliant doctor and psychologist who has been working in Vancouver's infamous East Side with one of the highest concentrations of drug addicts and homeless people in Canada and maybe the world. And he has been working a lot with trauma too. So I would like to start off with a bit of a silly hippie phrase, one that I use now and then, and that is, we are all energy. So what do I mean by that? Well, the minutest action that we can take requires the use of energy, whether we're just flexing a muscle. And the thought that triggers that action also requires energy. So basically all our thoughts and our actions are produced by the consumption of energy. And our energy can be used for positive and negative actions. So we can also affect other people with our energy. So if I wanted to spread my positive energy, I would, for example, smile at a stranger across the street. And my action, or my energy, would be converted into the action of smiling, which would be converted back into positive energy in someone else. On the opposite end of the spectrum is negative energy. And negative energy can come in the form of abuse. Also, I'm sure we all know somebody who is just a ball of negative energy, who is always complaining and trying to bring others down. So, negative energy, positive energy, anyone can impact anyone. But in this blog, we're going to focus on a very specific situation, and that is the verbal, physical, and sexual abuse that can come from our parents. So this relationship with our parents is because they are one of the most closest and continuous relationships in our lives, and they affect us through our formative years, which is our childhood and our teens. And in psychology circles, it is, I think, heard that trauma gets passed on to generation, and that's because the parents who are abusive to their children tend to produce abusive parents, and on and on. And that's because the abuse produces trauma within the kids, the children, and they accumulate this negative energy and trauma within them, and they end up passing that on to their children. Dr. Gabor-Mate also identifies addiction as being a main symptom of trauma. So trauma is one of the main causes, and that's because we use addictive behaviors to mask the trauma that we hold within us or distract ourselves from it. So, what can you do with this information? First step is just simply to be aware. Be aware of the trauma that is in your lives. Be aware that of any trauma caused by abuse by anyone in your life, whether it be your spouse or friend or coworker, but in specifically this situation, your parents. And from there you can start to move forward. You can identify your addictive behaviors and tie them to a root cause. And once you work on that root cause, you can break that addiction. Other healing methods. So once you address and become aware of the trauma, you can start to address and heal through healing methods such as meditation and yoga and counseling, and just communication with your parents. So for example, forgiveness. Forgive your parents because they probably had abusive parents or went through some traumatic experience in their lives to accumulate this negative energy that they're passing on to you. If this trauma is still continuing to this day, you can tell your parents, I will no longer accept your abuse. I will no longer take your negative energy. I will no longer let you unburden your negative energy upon me. And so another healing therapy that I will just mention quite offhand here is psychedelic therapy as well, but I won't get into that. So I think that's it, and I really hope this has helped you today. I'm an open book, so please, if this video has impacted you positively or negatively, please do message me or just leave some feedback. Like it, share it, or leave a comment and start a conversation. So thank you very much for listening, and I'm going to give you one last awesome look at the Machu Picchu. Hasta luego.